This is the story of Oisin and Tír na nÓg. And this story has been told for many centuries, the length and breadth of Ireland and Scotland too. And Oisin, of course, was the son of Finn McCool, the most famous leader of that band of warrior poets, the Fianna. Now, at some point, the Fianna were on the western shores of Ireland. Some say it was after the Battle of Gower. Some say they arrived there by some other means. But however it happened, they were looking out towards the western ocean when suddenly the waves parted and a maiden riding a pure white stallion galloped towards them. Well, they were in awe of this sight. And when she approached and rode up that beach, they could see that she was the most beautiful woman they had ever seen. Her hair streamed out behind her on the breeze. It was yellow. Her eyes danced like two blue stars. "I am Niamh of the golden hair," she said, "and I have come for the love of you, Oisin." "Me?" said Oisin. "Until this moment I have never laid eyes upon you, I'm sorry to say." "'Tis true," she said, "but I have heard of you, of your great courage, your great strength, and of your poems. And I have come to ask you, can we be man and wife?" Well, in that instant, Oisin fell in love with Niamh of the golden hair. So beautiful was she. He said farewell to all his companions of the Fianna, and then he took his father, and they embraced one another. And as the tears streamed down the old man's face, "Go, my son," he said, "live well and be happy." For he knew that he would never see his son again. Niamh took Oisin's hand. He mounted the stallion behind her. He put his arms around her waist, and she galloped off into the western ocean. The waves parted and they disappeared. Many days and nights they travelled, and they had many adventures which we don't have time to tell now. But soon they arrived in the land of Tír na nÓg, the land of the forever youthful. Did I not tell you, my love? Is it not the most beautiful place you have ever seen? And truly it was. The trees all hung with fruit. Everyone was young, and beautiful, and happy. They were wed, and together they lived as man and wife for what seemed like 3 years to Oisin, but in fact it was 300 years. And they could have been happy for all eternity. But Oisin began to miss Erin. He began to miss his father, Finn McCool, and all his friends of the Fianna, and the battles that they had fought, and the hunts that they had had for the red stag and the wild boar, the hares. I would like to go back to Erin one more time to see my father and my friends, he told Niamh. "No, my love, you cannot." "But why?" "Ireland has changed greatly since you left it. The old ways have been swept aside. Your father and all of the Fianna will be gone." But Oisin could not accept this truth. "My love, your horse knows the way. Let me return once. I will come back to you." "I fear you will not," she said. 3 times she warned Oisin. 3 times he laughed off her concerns. And eventually she said, "Very well, take my horse and return to Erin, but promise me, please promise me, that you will not so much as let your foot touch the soil of Erin, for if it does, you can never return to Tír na nÓg." Oisin rode away on that white stallion. Many days and nights he travelled, but the horse took him as straight as a well-thrown spear, and eventually he arrived on the shores of Erin. And he searched all the provinces, Leinster, Meath, Connaught, and eventually Ulster. No trace of his father Finn MacCool or the Fianna could he find, although the people sang songs and told stories of those heroes. And sitting on that white horse, looking out across the Sea of Moyle to Alba from County Antrim, Oisin had to accept that the Fianna and his father were all dead and gone. And wearily he turned that horse to retrace his steps and go back to Tirnanogue. And as he rode along, he came across a crowd of people, and when they saw Oisin and his golden hair and his fine stature, they were in awe of his size and his strength. "Help us, please," they said. "We are trying to move this stone." And Oisin could see that they were weak and feeble and underfed, and so he rode among them. And holding on to the reins of the horse, he reached down with one hand to move that stone. And as he did so, the girth strap of his saddle broke, and to save himself, Oisin jumped from the horse and his 2 feet planted on the ground. It felt good to have his feet back on the soil of Erin at last. But the moment he did, the thought went through his mind. The last words of Niamh: "Let not your foot touch the soil of Erin, for if you do, you can never return to the land of Tirnanogue." And as soon as that thought went through his mind, he stooped over. His hair went white. His skin turned leathery and wrinkly as an autumn leaf. The flesh fell from his bones. He dropped to the ground, an old blind man, unable to stand. Oisin died, but not before he told his story to a man that the people revered as the father of their new religion. His name, of course, was Patrick. And they took Oisin and they buried him on a hillside in the townland of Lubatavish, overlooking the village of Cushendall in the glens of Antrim. Nowadays, just a few standing stones mark that place, and the people still come to visit it and lay flowers and remember Oisin, the greatest warrior poet of them all, and the last of the Fenians.